Well, good morning, friends, and welcome to episode 39. Unintended consequences, and a little noodling there, as I am wont to do these days. A little improvised and yet introverted opening music, if you will. I just sit down and begin to play whatever comes out. And this guy... I don't know. I got so, again, I just play whatever comes, and it's never written out or composed or really thought through. It's just a way for me to sort of, get in a stream of consciousness and help all that out. And so sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Hey, Nachiketa, welcome. But sometimes it goes really out there. And I get interesting comments from time to time, and most are well-meaning. I got to say, we're relatively troll-free here, and I'm appreciative of that. We do draw a couple. Anytime you turn on the light in the darkness, you're going to get some bugs. So we do. Yeah. Anyway, I know, right? So anyway, the point of this being is that they were saying that they preferred the piano arrangements. And I appreciate that. I appreciate all the kind comments and the encouragement, and I really do. And in fact, I want to spend some time this morning, but I'll get back to that. It'll be like a makeup call. So yeah, the encouragement. I prefer the piano arrangements. It's sort of like the backhanded compliment, like, yeah, okay, that was good, but. Stick to that piano stuff, which is pretty much assured that I would not just do a piano thing this morning because I'm that guy, and I apologize for that. And that is kind of the theme of today's episode, a little bit. All right. So anyway, let me do this. I would be remiss. In fact, I am in many ways to many of you who really are this program. I hate to use the word show. It doesn't feel like I'm standing up here doing a song and dance for you. It more feels like we're getting together in a group, and I'm making coffee and passing it around. By the way, the coffee is particularly outrageously good this morning. Yeah, God. Fuck me, man. That is really good. So it more feels like, again, this congregational thing that we're getting together and sharing thoughts and ideas, and there's some feedback. It's not entirely democratic, right? And not intended to be. Neither is it, me sitting on the top of the mountain going, "I am your guru, and I'm going to tell you what the fuck is up. And if you don't get it, you just need to open up your bunghole a little more." So, I don't know. Whatever. Clearly, that's not my intention either. Despite the fact that, thank you, Ted, I appreciate that. He says, your coffee is the best. I'm like, well, it's the best that I know of, right? I'll be honest. It's the best I know of. I haven't had any that's better. So, and I mean, so there's sort of, I guess, that idea, right? Robert Heinlein, the fair witness, right? Stranger in a strange land. And a fair witness. I can only tell you what I'm familiar with. What color is that house? Well, the side that I can see is painted white, right? I like that. I like that premise, right? That it's we're observing and reflecting what we can. I mean, it's like the idea of, right? It's not what you know; it's what you can prove. And we often have to, in this community, take some leaps of faith, if you will. To put together the dots, right? We don't have a complete picture of things, clearly. And in part, we know this is because they have, I say, they, the generic they with the air quotes around it, the reptilian overlords, the blue chicken people, yeah, whoever, right? I mean, we can talk all day about what that might look like and all the different various groups that are involved in it. And I would say yes to all those different various groups, that they are all, to one degree or another, have been involved over time in doing the naughty things, the heinous fuckery most foul with which we are now very familiar. and responsible for all the things around us, right? So yeah, but so Mark Bloom says the Grabblers, right? Yes, I agree. Yes, and also the Jesuits, and also just the Catholic Church at large, and also the Masons, and also the Illuminati, the very naughty, right? And also the Rosicrucians, and also you name it. You can go back all the way to Babylon. I mean, it seems like the again, they, right? And they've done all this damage in the name of, and they always claim to be doing good, right? That they're the good guy, and they're keeping this important information from from the profane. You're not good enough. Prove yourself worthy. Are you worthy of my knowledge? Fuck the dumb shit. Right? I mean, people, as you know, this is what it seems to be about, is the whether or not you're worthy of the knowledge, whether or not you're worthy of the burden that it causes you to bear. Ecclesiastes says that the greater the wisdom, the greater the pain, and the greater the knowledge, the heavier the burden. So certainly he knew, right, what was up with that. That there is there is an inherent agony to seeing and understanding things the way that they are. And here's for example, watching a documentary, just a brief 1-hour documentary with my wife about language. We're fascinated by all kinds of stuff, but language is one of them. And it was about Appalachia, however you want to say that, because people do it different ways, even at different ends of a 2-mile-long river. Okay. But, the culture that went on there and how they were so isolated, and they kept many of the source, the extant language that came from Irish Scots that had come over. And then they got kind of isolated and cut off there without roads. And so kept many of the peculiarities and eccentricities to their language. Up until, again, World War II, a little bit after, in the 50s and 60s, when they first started getting electricity and phones, and became aware of the greater world outside that had free access to exchange of information. And so they did not, and had these, dialects that would be often, again, wildly varied just a few miles down the road. Same to this day, that's true, really, in the UK. There's a wide variety of different dialects that are identifiable to just the few blocks, right? It's pretty crazy. Anyway, we're watching this thing, and this old guy, he says something that's like super poignant, right? He's talking about how changes, that changes happen over time, and you can see the look on his face, and he says, you go through your life, and you get into certain things, and you chase after one thing and then another. And then something will stop you. And the camera's not even on him, but I hear a check in his voice, and I know. And he says something will stop you, and then you look around, and then everything after that is just memories. And I knew at that point he was talking about the loss of his wife. And again, it just... The heartache that is out there in the world that people endure is almost unimaginable. And I pick up on bits and pieces of it from time to time, and I understand, the heart of Dad in this matter, right? That he does not, he will not turn away a broken heart, and to love the beautifully broken, and to have compassion for those who are specifically downtrodden. And considering some of these matters this week about how the nature of power, and how what we are given to perceive as power actually isn't. It's fear, right? So if you have to control someone, you're not operating from a position of power. you're operating from a position of fear, because if you don't oppress them, they won't do what you want. And so that's a position of fear. When you operate in these ways, again, so true power does not and would not cause harm. So true power would encourage growth. And this is exactly, I think, what we see if you look closely at the nature of the spiritual battle that goes on around us. That one side requires trickery, obfuscation, deception. It requires all kinds of coercion to get the score. Whereas the other side is content to let truth speak for itself. And that those who are worthy of that truth, who see something in it and who are willing to carry the burden that it requires to carry it, those are the ones that are worthy of our time and attention. And so while I'm, again, familiar with the ideas of sharing your light before men and that sort of stuff, I also come up to this place where, again, if you don't, so yesterday I was thinking about this. We keep talking about this as a sense of a spiritual battle, and so sort of how I got here, right, is that somebody, and again, it doesn't matter whom, and my intention is not ever to call anybody out, and I'm not trying to embarrass anybody, or that's not the intention. It's simply to respond to someone who, in a comment section yesterday, asked where I was because they were apparently unhappy about what someone else was saying in a stream right then. And given the person who they named, I can maybe imagine what it might be, but I don't know for sure. But it's not really I just say, is it my job to tell? Again, I don't feel like I'm the arbiter of truth, or to tell somebody, oh, see, you're wrong, right? They're free to present whatever it is they believe. That's fine. And if that conflicts with what I think, then I guess it's my responsibility. If I care, it's my responsibility to succinctly and clearly try to express what I think in such a way that those who are inclined to can check its validity and veracity and do with it what they will. But I'm just not the judge. It's just not up to me to fix it. And I find it, and again, this is nothing about that person, but I do find it interesting how there are people, just the nature of people, right, they'll say, I don't want anybody to, I just don't want to do what I want, right? I don't want anybody to control me, and I want freedom, right? And then right away they're like, well, but okay, now tell me what to do. Whoa, right? Or tell them what to do, right? So tell this white guy what to do. Tell this guy what's up. Wait a minute, what? And I had this conversation with Ceiling Fan Man, who I see is here today, and it's great to see you, my friend. And we'll talk again soon, as we often now do. It's I love the relationships that are growing in this community. It's fabulous. It's fabulous. Love it. Sparkly. The trolls are going to go crazy over that. Anyway, no, but as we were saying, right, conversation we were having, God, was it yesterday? It's this week anyway, that about, I don't really want to be leadership, like in charge of anything. I don't mind being part of, I don't know, a tribe of elders or whatever that considers things and tries to figure out what is the best for the team or what have you. But certainly, I shudder at the idea of being responsible for other people. I mean, I suppose I realize that I am by default just because I'm here and you guys come here. So there's that. It's so again, I feel a certain responsibility that I won't. I mean, I'm not going to betray anybody here by saying anything that I think is stupid or, not helpful, right? Just without getting into that, I won't ever betray. But so I do feel a certain amount of responsibility, and it's going to be like that. But in terms of like, I'm not in charge of you, right? I'm not the dad of you. We could, if we all are in agreement about something, that's super great, and I'm willing to work my ass off to make something work together, right? But in terms of like, I jokingly say, "Hey, join the poppy cult," right? But cults usually have a leader. I don't know about being a cult leader, right? I mean, I'll jokingly say I'll be the cheerleader, right? I mean, I'll do that, but this is. I shy away from, again, the idea of government of any kind. The more I look at these sort of things and consider what might work the best in a community, an intentionally living community, it does seem that, again, many of the what we would say the native tribes had it worked out pretty well. These ideas of elder leadership, that the more, they had generational groupings, which was perfect because the young people, no offense to the young folks here, I love you. No, seriously, I do, because I was once young. But now, who I am now would jap slap who I used to be, for sure, just for being a knucklehead, right? And so they're very energetic, are the young, and they have they can do a lot of work, and they're excited. And so the sort of middlings, right? They have a better understanding of what's going on. They can make a lot of management decisions, that sort of stuff. And then as you get older, right, grandparents are better with the little kids and have again, much better idea of what to do with challenging decisions and where the long-term passage of the group should go. And so putting these together, right, these are kind of the ways. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. He says, I still look young. Oh, dear. Well, I feel youngish. Madeline, my wife, and I were talking this, as we often do. But saying that we don't feel like an old person. We know that we are. I had a number of losses this last year, people in the family. And one of the things, and so Joe and I were talking just this week about how, as the older we get, the more common it is that the more number of people that we have lost it throughout our lifetimes, and so we are much more aware of our mortality now than we once were. And I feel like in some ways, I've lost my self-preservation instincts. Right. It's like I'm not looking to check my own time card, but on the other hand, don't threaten me with a good time. Right? It's like I'm done with this shit. And it's probably a sign of the times. It would be different if it weren't like it is, but it is the way it is now. So that being again as it is, here's what I want to say about all that is that we see there has been, well, I guess from the outset, but certainly, again, we see it of late here in the community. I say community, I mean in the broad sense, the truth community, right? And that is even of itself, right, a really strange thing, as I have said numerous times, because we really know little about the truth. We're trying to find it, but we know that we're shaking off lies. We've come to the realization that what they have offered is an illusion and provably false. So we have at least a starting point, and we're trying to put together the puzzle pieces, which is sometimes challenging, right? So we lack enough information, and there are some different directions that we can go. And there are some people that are very passionate about and very committed to particular ideas one way or another. And I love the passion, right? And even when I disagree with the precepts behind it, I do love when people are passionate. I don't care for when they begin to take umbrage with others and become hostile toward them when they are not in agreement. I have particular lack of fondness for those groups who spend all of their time going after globetards or any COVIDiots or whatever. Just personally, I don't think that's helpful. I just think hostility isn't really a positive. Hatred really doesn't accomplish anything but increase hatred. So I think those are truisms that we can agree with. I do understand the frustration and the defensiveness that when we are, as I've pointed out and have been pointing out for some period of time, the one prognostication that I've made since becoming a member of this community is that no matter what else, they are clearly going to begin to name us as domestic terrorists, and absolutely, you see that a direct line now. It's no longer kind of coincidentally or tangent. It is direct one-to-one correlation now with our community and what they would consider alt-right or domestic terrorism, even though that we don't do any political sort of thing like that because we see it for the fraud that it is. Nevertheless, that's the way we're being presented and portrayed, and so we have become the enemy of the common man, or soon to be the most wanted, especially because of our views on specific health matters as well as matters that are more and more becoming considered matters of national security interest. And in every country around the world, so it doesn't matter whether you're in the United States, one of the Five Eyes countries, or any modern country, or I suppose any country really, they are going to consider these particular topics as matters of national security, and therefore your dissent from their view or their state narrative as an opposing view that's a hostile, you become an enemy combatant. And as such, you become a threat to them and to the security and stability of the state, and therefore a threat. And so now we present a threat, an open, overt threat in the United States now, overtly stated. And this is in part, although not in its entirety, why many of us, including myself now, want to take off and get us a little self-sustaining group of communal living situation. Rob, thank you so much. You're always so generous, and your numerology is spot on. He's got a magic bag of 777. As long as he doesn't give the last one away, it continues to have at least 770. But yeah, I want to set up with some others a community of like-minded individuals who want to help one another grow and develop, and not just one, but numerous of these around the country and, in fact, around the world, where we can support one another and make the mistakes that are involved nearby in a way that's comfortable and secure, so that, because I think ultimately, again, it would be naive to think that we'll be there, and they lived happily ever after. Right? They will eventually, when they switch the flip, they will come for us. I make no mistake. But I am of the, let's say, cautiously optimistic. I'm hopeful that when they do that, they'll focus on the mega cities, and pretty much, if we don't create an overt threat, and or are in large numbers, which is another reason to keep it small, as well as the management of community and relationships, keeping it under 300 in each group. By doing that, again, we don't present an overt, imminent threat. And so it might be possible to get them to leave us alone for a little while they do their thing. And then as we prepare and they prepare, maybe we can go somewhere else that's further away that will keep them, off. I would love to just say, I'm going to need you. I mean, I know you're listening right now, so fuck you, NSA guys. And I'm going to need you to get all the way up off my back. That's right. All the way up off my back. on this shit, because we are seeing it. And, even me, right. I noticed this, that unlike some of the larger channels who overtly speak and make a big splash about some of these narrative challenging ideas, whether it's hoax events or historical events, scientific claims, doesn't matter. There are many channels that are much larger than mine. And there are, their explicit, overt intention is to get people to quote, wake up, right, or become aware of these things, at least look into them. And they take a lot of heat for that. And, God bless them, good on them, they're doing that. Again, from the outset, my focus has been a bit more on the community itself. Of late, this last week, I feel very clear direction at moving forward. To spend the focus, again, on this as, this premise that if this is if we are at war, right, I don't want to spend the resources on trying to recruit people and making them promises and training them and getting them into uniform and doing all the boot camp when I've got guys on the battlefield that they just need a freaking cup of water, right? They just need some food, some MREs. I'm going to support those guys who have already done the work, right, and been through it themselves. Those are the ones that I want to put the energy in and support. So that's where my focus is right now, would be to support the community as best I am able. And part of that, I think, is to try to create these types of communities and put my energies toward that. And toward getting people to talk to one another. I met Renee this week, and we've been talking for quite a while via email. It was great to meet her. She came into Seattle, and we spent a little time. And again, I just sensed, not just sense, but we openly talked about how so many people feel so alone, right? There's a lot of us, but we're so isolated and so cut off from one another, and how truly alone it makes people feel. Right, and how just devastating that can be. It could just waste you emotionally and just really wear you down and make it so difficult. Just having some people to be around, right? And in fact, in part, this is why I am so grateful to Karen B for pushing and pulling through Flattoberfest, right, is despite all the challenges, the immense organizational challenges that were required to do that. She not only did the logistics, but fended off all the nonsense so that more than 400 people could get together and experience this thing. And again, at this particular time, it was just so valuable because not just to get together with like-minded people, because that in and of itself is amazing and worth it, but in this time where they're trying to prevent that exact thing was huge. So, and this is in part why I think it continues to resonate for those who were there now months later. We continue to talk about it with sort of starry eyes. I'm like, oh, Flattoberfest, oh my God, it was amazing. Were you there? Did you see it, man? It was awesome. No, but it was awesome. The event in March, Karen B would tell you more about that because she mentioned it. I spaced it. I'm so bad right now. I feel literally so terrible because I've gotten behind a few things, and so this week I tried and I still didn't manage to catch up on a bunch of emails I'm behind on, and it's like people are like literally waiting on emails from me, like they're waiting, and I don't intend for it to be like that. So yeah. In any case, because of something else that happened, and I'm not able to go to Ceiling Fan Man's house this weekend, so I'm gonna spend time this afternoon, this evening, intentionally trying to catch up on some of these emails. So I'm trying, but it is brutal. Yes, Gubby, yes, I know exactly. Man, we're all right, just like pushing, pulling, and taking up the slack for everybody else, right? Everybody's all scared to death, right, of the dark magic beer bug, that he who must not be named. Oh, Cammie, I'm so jealous. Oh my gosh. You're killing me with that. You really are. You're killing me. But well, for the record, if you're not seeing the chat, what happened is that Cammie, Isling 717, so that Karen B is coming over to her house later today, and I'm super jelly. What I'm also super jelly about, Cammie, is that we have to do. See, this is the thing is we're getting to. We have to do the lab because I was doing some study yesterday in a circuitous route and going around magnetism and coming back to crystals and starting to put the crystal lattice structure together with electromagnetism and went, wait a minute. And so suddenly I was like, wait. Cammie, where are you? Because some pieces of the puzzle just fell into place and I went, wait a minute. I love it when those whys just happen and lands. Oh, Georgie, yes. So I think, yes. So it's a problem with my Skype account. So apparently I have two different logins and I have been somehow logged into, I think, either two of them at the same time or the wrong one. And it does cause all kinds of trouble. So I will try to, immediately after this program, if you're available, I will try to contact you. My apologies for that. And wait, do share. Oh, no, I'll get there. Not Chiquita. Never prematurely. But it was very interesting stuff. And again, I was touching into water, basically, and then where water becomes the crystalline structure, and then the crystal becomes, well, it's electromagnetic because of the way that it organizes. And keep in mind, again, that self-organizing structures are considered sentient. It's alive. The fuck? All right, so it's a crazy, crazy world we live in. I'm just going to say that. And over the top crazy is what it is. And then not to put too fine a point on it, but if you can look around at the world that we live in and think that someone who designed it with such incredible detail and love wants to destroy it and hates it in some way, that has any other feeling towards it other than complete amazing joy and pride and love toward it, I don't know, it's a hard jump for me. Yes, I know you can, Cammie. I want to know it all. That's what I want. So, to this end, right, within, all right, so back up just a moment. I'll just kind of summarize and then move forward a bit. So the quick summarization, right, is that my efforts will be primarily now focused and just not really a change in that, just I guess more clearly focused on, again, the community and trying to do a few things specific within the community and make that happen. And to that end, again, from my perspective, moving forward, unless otherwise I feel instructed or clearly nudged to do so, all my focus again is going to be on the community itself, and so supplying the community and supporting the community itself, and those who are already here, rather than trying to convert or convince anybody else, as is pretty much my way anyway. It's the way I've always been, but at this stage, I think it's really just important to focus, just make sure that my efforts are focused in the right spot, and that is to support, encourage, and do everything I can for people in the community. So there's that. Let's see. Then, and again, so part of that is going to be a physical living situation. And so I'm going to devote an enormous amount of effort this year into that. A little bit at first and then greater moving forward. Part of it is going to be to try to wrap up the first round of the Awakening Project and just kind of put a cap on that at least, and prep for round 2, phase 2, and what that entails, because I want to make use of the data that was collected there. It's very good and valuable data. I think it'll be interesting to most of you, and you'll understand, I think, better the mechanics of what they've done and why I'm doing what I'm doing to sort of counter that. So focusing more on that. Then a bit more on just the infrastructure stuff. So as I take time off the primary work thing, then going to put a bit more work in the infrastructure here. So, complete a Patreon thing. That's, part of the plan. And then just do some sort of like weekly or special videos for that, and kind of actual put together videos rather than just the streams. Because they are a couple of different, I come from a different place in each one. So the streams are very much stream of consciousness, and the mechanics of that are very different than something that's thought through and well developed, which was the original intent. I do like the live stream thing because of the interactive process, and I wouldn't not want to do that. But I do think that there is certainly a place for, and that was the original intention for me, is to do that. The problem, of course, is that that appeals unfortunately, to my more perfectionist qualities. And then I tend to want to do things just right, and then it kind of pushes it out further and further, and that creates an issue. And so doing live streams really obviates that entirely. I just kind of jump in and do it. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the best, but it can be. So I want both available. So the interactive stuff with a live thing, but also a well-considered, thought-out series of content videos. So we got that going, which is nice. And then finally, again, just stuff that's come up, like the recent comment about, hey, go tell this guy what's up with this or that. Again, just a couple of things here. The first is that it's not, I'm not anybody's dad, right? I don't have a badge. I don't. It's not my place to tell anybody anything. If the things that I present resonate with you and you agree with them, outstanding. Let's grow in that together. If you see things differently, then one, either present those ideas to me and then let's grow together in that direction. Or if I don't see it the same way, fine. We have, different things. Let's try out these things, test and measure everything, see what comes of it. Right. And, I don't think that those are necessarily reasons, to part ways. There are, as you know, people who are, I don't know, some that are in the community or some that present to the community, that sort of stuff. That, and what we would say is controlled opposition, shills, that sort of stuff. And there are some that are pretty plain and obvious, Alex Jones, that sort of thing. There are others that people make accusations of along the way. Who knows? None of my business either way. And I understand it's very possible. We talked about this a number of times, that it's easy to be, or it's possible to be, sincere, but sincerely mistaken, and that you're repeating a lie, but you may not necessarily be telling a lie. In some ways, that may be more egregious because it plays off the good faith and, the best intentions of people. So, we have that aspect going. But one of the things for sure is that people have a tendency to, over time, become very, again, enamored, and yet my mods delete for the most part any thing that don't fit the current way of thinking. No, that's not really the thing. The only person that deals with that, frankly, is me. And it's usually if a comment is argumentative or just gross, it'll just get deleted. And if it's if people want to ask questions or have a discussion, I'm happy to do that. If they just want to tell me the way they think, what's the point? If it's in direct opposition to what I'm presenting, then is it likely that I'm going to accept yours just because you say so? Right? I mean, then it just becomes a matter of your opinion versus mine. Why is why is either of our opinion that important? It's kind of not. So, and if you're just going to stomp your feet and act like a child, I have no room for that. I've got no time. I don't owe anything to anybody in that regard. So, it's okay. I mean, trolling, whatever, they're going to say that. And it's always going to happen, right? It just is. But this is kind of what I'm getting to, right? In a way, is that they're going to be people, even within the community, right, that will consider those with whom they have one small area of disagreement about that is going to become their mortal enemy, right, and then try to take them on. Oh, dear. Okay, it's just so funny. Like, again, what are we in kindergarten here? Anyway, they're again. These people, they want to consider people like their mortal enemy, right? If they even just like disagree in just one aspect, right? Like, they don't like mud flood. Right. Okay. Well, some people can be pretty outspoken and vocal about what they like and don't like. Again, for me, I feel like giving a lot of latitude toward a lot of different things because I know for sure that I don't know for sure, and so there's a lot of stuff that I'm just content to say I don't really know. So go get it. Show me some good information, and convince me. Right. So. So I'm good with that, right? Just show me the information. All good. But some people feel like they have to, shut down all misinformation, and some people, feel like that anybody who doesn't agree with their information is then a gatekeeper and a troll, and now they're going to fight amongst themselves and against one another, and anybody who is associated with them, right? So. Without getting too deep into it, if you don't mind, I know these people sort of personally, so I hope they'll forgive me if I point out a thing. But for example, Brian Staveley is a passionate advocate of the Mandela effect. He's one of the leading proponents of it. He knows more of them than probably anybody. When it comes to my position on it, I've said, looks like there's something going on. I don't know what that is. There's some of them I could probably walk through and find plausible reasons for them occurring, but the number of occurrences and the spread of it is such that it becomes a statistical outlier to a degree. I can't really deny that it's a thing. I just don't know what that thing is, and it doesn't really directly address or affect my vector right now. I think for some people it would, and so sure, get after that. Anyway, so he, but he's a big proponent of that, right? So he really is looking into that. There are others then that they think that's just nonsense and that's some kind of psyop, right? And so blah blah blah, and they're going to make a big stinking deal about it. Again, if that's what you thought, then why spend any effort on it, right? It just doesn't seem valuable to me. And moreover, it seems like this is of more detriment than any actual PSYOP would be, right? If the point of the PSYOP to create controlled opposition is to cause internal strife, well, it seems that those who are doing that are doing the job for them. I mean, or they become just as suspect as anyone else in terms of who's causing problems. So, again, to that end, I will simply say that I make no accusations against anybody. I have no problem with anybody. Most people I don't even know very well firsthand, if at all. I know some of the folks that are leading proponents in our community, and some people I don't. Some I've barely met. Most people we have, at least from my perspective, mutual respect for. And whether we agree or not, I continue to work with some with whom we don't agree on some things, several things. Doesn't matter. I consider them my friends, and we just see things different ways. That's okay. I don't think that they're bad or dumb because we see things differently. That just doesn't seem helpful to me. And I think that is the problem that I see right now, is that we are having a lot of this infighting going on. And again, it just seems less helpful. And again, I can't tell you what to do. It's like, I'm not going to be hypocritical, right? And going, okay, now don't be judgmental as I judge you in being judgmental. No, I'm just saying I think that we can find better ways to spend our efforts that are going to be more helpful. But I will say this, and if you're interested in the communal living situation and you're, you want to join the poppy cult, then consider this. Right, that from my perspective, and while I'm not saying anything about being, I'm the leader or arbiter or anything of this, but I will say this is my perspective, and I'll stand by this, that from my perspective, the most important asset that we have going in to this is who we are. And as people, right? So not just knowledge, we can learn knowledge and skill. We can do those things, but it's who we are as people and the ethics and the integrity that we bring, which makes the difference. And so I have said from the very beginning, when we look at this stuff, like Jason Gay is one that I have had an enormous amount of appreciation for, as he looks for some of these properties in different places around the world even. But if we, as we look for different characteristics and different aspects that we're looking for and things to check off, one of the discussions, of course, has come up several times, is that if we don't have the right people, it will fail no matter what, right? Because it will simply collapse. With the right people, no matter the obstacles, it will succeed because you've got the right people and they will face those obstacles. And so the most most critical importance is the people. So just keep that in mind if you're the kind of person that likes to cause drama or talk shit or weasel out and ferret out who might be the bug or the shill. I don't have any time for that. I got way more. So won't be finding a home where I am. For what it's worth. So, but I guess I would say I suspect, or I would like to say, ultimately I would recommend that as we try to pursue this, again, one of my goals is, of course, to have a playbook or something, a template, if you will, as we do this, that you can have, many of these smaller places anywhere, where people can get together, and we'll have already made the mistakes for you. But part of it is addressing these kinds of issues specifically, because nothing will sink this faster than conflict within the community. And I think that, again, some understanding of the expectations from everyone, having very clear spoken expectations is critical. To doing this right. So I think that we can succeed even where philosophies can disagree, but some of those philosophies do have to agree in terms of the way to treat other people and in terms of how you work out differences. That those things need to be addressed early on, openly, transparently, and again with really with integrity, that people keep their commitments. And so with that, I don't want to go over time here. I do want to address a couple of things here. Tommy Paint, man, you're first of all, just want to say thank you again for the lovely stats that you gave my bride and I. But I saw the video where the tree missed you, and want to say, dude, just blessings on you and your family. But man, your priorities are so right on. Just rock on, dude. Keep crushing. Those are the words of a guy who's got things lined up right. So appreciate that. Other people, Flat Accord Music, man, thanks for grinding out those wonderful tunes and spending the time that you do and just being a positive influence. in the community. Nachiketa, I can't thank you enough again for being such a valuable member of the community, and for really the support and the kind words that you give people, and the grace and magnanimous nature that you show, and really offering the wisdom that you've managed to collect at a very high cost toward just giving that away for others. So I appreciate that. And again, Waters Above and Jennifer, you guys are so awesome and just so high-spirited, and I just love the positive vibes that you and Winston and, oh my gosh, Sue Finelli, you're just the absolute best, right? Just I love you. You're just awesome. Thank you for the friendship. And Mark Bloom, I apologize. I still haven't gotten some of those documents. I'm trying to get to everything this weekend. If I don't, try to be this week. I just got so far behind. Billingtano, you're so funny, man. You crack me up. Nemo, thank you again for the kind words and messages. Let's see. Of course, Cammie, thank you. Doesn't quite cover it, but I really appreciate you. And yeah, we are the best. David Reif, thank you again. Candace, Gabby, you guys are just. I'm gonna start crying here. No, it truly deeply touches me. The community that we're developing and building here, and super stoked to see what comes this coming year. So I'm very excited, and again, so appreciative to all of you. And we'll just keep you informed about what's happening. And absolutely, fuck the fucking fuckers, man. Without doubt, there's no question that we are definitely gonna fuck the fucking fuckers. Let's see. Notable notes. I think Rose is doing better. I just exchanged some chat messages with her this last week. She was on the mend, and then I talked to Jason, and there was some positive stuff. Oh, Jason, man, that's so very kind. I so appreciate you. Thank you, and thank you all in the community for the amazing tribe that you guys have made here. You are outstanding. But I know that, again, Rose is doing better. I don't know how quickly she'll be back to poppycock. So we'll just, we'll see how that goes. So it's no pressure to her, but I'll continue to carry the load with Cocky Pop until she's does better, or she says otherwise, and she says, I can't do it. I just got too much stuff going on. I don't know. I don't think that's the case, but never know what's going to happen. But I know that she is feeling better, so send positive vibes out there. I'll be back again early tomorrow morning with Ancient Wisdom for a Modern World, as we take a deeper look into Proverbs, maybe a little bonus action there, and then I'll come back for sort of scriptural tomorrow evening. So we look forward to that, and I will spend time this weekend going through messages, trying to catch up with some of that, and anything else? What else? I don't know for now, other than I hope to try to finish the Patreon stuff and get that going, and then working. Going to try to work with Karen B to see what we can do to support her with more festivals this year. Time is already ticking, so we need to get a jump start on that, and then see what I can do about getting my happy little butt into some sort of happy little camp. So we'll see what occurs there. Let's see. Let's wrap it up here. I'll throw in a little bit of this. This is old school tunes from Joe Ray and myself and this is me on the vocals, believe it or not, called Too Much. I hope that you enjoy it, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning if you are cool with coming back by then. Guys, have a great weekend, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care. Street. real sincere, and let's speak the truth. Your innocence is an endearing quality, but also serves as a warning to me. Never take more than you give. Never break what you cannot replace. Things easily shattered, best left untouched. So God help me learn not to love you too much. A twist of fate or a twist of the night, both means to an end in an unfulfilled life. You want and you need, you beg and receive, but your gifts in return are few in between. Your promises